Welcome back to another episode of Level Up with Gal. I'm your host, Gal Pereno. I know it's been a minute, I've taken a break, but I am back in the swing of things and I will fill you in, and the topic I want to talk about today with you is about why it is so important to take breaks in your life. And the other thing I'm going to throw in there is just like how we can really impact, not how we just, like how we impact other people in everything and anything that we do. But let's talk about why it's so important to take breaks in your life. It's break from friends, break from busy work, break from always being on the go, right? And I want to start with this topic today, and it's super crucial and important because I took a break. I took a little bit longer break than I planned to, but I really needed a break. I love doing this. I love getting out free content. I love sharing things I've learned with you so you can take it, soak up the knowledge, implement into your life, and show up better in everything that you do. Everything and everything you do. Kind of got tongue twisted there. But I'm super excited to be back and to share so much. I took a little break. I've also taken another mentorship program, which was amazing and so beautiful, right in the direction that I wanted to go into. But just wanted to share that you can take a break. You can do things whatever way you want and come back to something that you love. And sometimes, when you take a break, maybe you don't necessarily love it anymore. Maybe you don't want to do that job anymore. Maybe you don't want to, if you're a podcaster too, maybe you don't want to do episodes anymore. Maybe you don't want to put content out anymore. Maybe you don't want to run anymore because you're just not into it. Maybe you don't want to lift anymore. It could be anything in your life that you're currently doing. And maybe you just don't feel like doing it anymore. But sometimes it takes us taking a break to realize this isn't for me anymore, or this is for me, right? Like even in a break in a relationship, friendship, a significant other, a break from your own chaos, right? How many of you have been there, right? I've been there so many times. We put ourselves into these situations and then we are we have this mindset no, I did it, but yes, you did, and start to realize when you take that break from the busy stuff, the go, full schedule, and you take that step back, you really get to reflect and look at your life and the things you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing and why is it important to you. Do you still want to do it? Do you not want to do it anymore? And whatever comes up, there's no right or wrong answer. That's the best thing. But you're not going to know what direction you want to go, or if you want to continue being where you're at or continue doing what you're doing, if you don't take a second to come up for air and to breathe for a moment, right? My schedule typically is go, right? Next thing to the next thing to the next thing, whether it's business, my day job, or going out with friends, or my siblings, or doing this, or spending time with my significant other. It's always jam-packed. And I've learned that I like to live that way. But I've also been used to that kind of lifestyle, the way I grew up, the way always had to be ready for, who knows what's going to happen kind of thing. That all stems from working on yourself and healing the pieces of trauma that you've been through in your life to be able to start to see yep, I'm that way because of what happened to me way back then when I was a kid, So me having this jam-packed schedule all the time, it stems from, and I know this for a fact, from working with many mentors and coaches that's helped me realize this, and my own studies of a personal development journey, is all of it combined, right? Now I realize that stemmed from when I was just younger, right? Parents being divorced, it's just, chaotic, chaos, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing. And then always keeping myself busy to the next thing. In my whole life, I noticed I've done that, right? Whether I was, in school, then I'm going to running practice. And after that, I have homework. Then I'm going to go out with my friends and I'm doing this and that. And then as I got into become an adult, I would work 2 jobs and I'll be in school. But it was rewarding to be able to be I'm so busy. I have all this stuff going on and yay me, right? But if you take a moment and you think about it, It's very stressful to be go, 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 go. And nothing is wrong with being busy and having intention to set all these meetings and to do all these things and have all these events and live your life. I'm all for it. Yes, absolutely. Please live your life, right? And enjoy it though. Make sure you're in the present moment and enjoy your life. That's something I've learned again recently, to be in the present moment, to learn, like be a sponge, to constantly always be willing to soak up the knowledge all around you. And like there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you, and that is the best part. I don't know, I felt called to share that, segue a little bit into that, but let's back up. Let's back up real quick. I get so excited and so much to share, but there's time. We have time. It doesn't all have to be jam-packed into this episode. And, as I take in a break and let myself not be so stressed about, okay, the next episode, and what am I going to talk about? And like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, and it got to be this long, right? You see how our brain all of a sudden stresses ourselves out by like, oh my gosh, I have to do this and that. And then have you ever felt where you're like, well, now I don't want to do anything because there's just so much to do, which is why it's important to step back real quick, take a look at the things that you're doing. Like I said earlier, why is it important to you? Why do you still want to do it? Right? So for me, for example, I took a step back from the episodes and my time was pushed a little bit more towards something else. And I was like, I really miss doing this. I really love doing this. And I'm going to bring it back. When I didn't know for sure when that was going to happen, but I already set an intention that I'm going to take this break. I'm going to come back and it's going to be fire. It's going to be even better. And when you take a break from things and you realize that you really love it and you want to still do it, it hits different. The energy that's oozing off of you, people feel that, and they feel that, it feels good, and it's real, it's authentic, right? Then pushing through doing something and you're like, I'm not really sure I want to do this. I think so, but I've been doing it for so long, so I should just keep doing it. It's like being in that bad relationship, right? And like, this is going to be an extreme example. Like me, you're getting beat. And you're like, but I've been in this relationship for so long and I know it. I know what's coming. I'm going to stay in it. Right? Exactly like that. But I was going somewhere with that example and I just totally lost my train of thought. But, just because something is comfortable to you or you're used to it doesn't mean you have to stay in it, doesn't mean you have to continue doing it. So for my example, I ended up, loving to do it and I really, really enjoy, doing it. But maybe you take a break and you don't like something anymore, and that is okay. Don't beat yourself out. Allow yourself to feel the way you do and be like, you know what? That was good for me for that time period and not anymore. So another example for me is I had this coach. He was amazing. When I started working with him, it was exactly what I needed in the moment or where my life was. I learned so much. But then fast forward, like over a year, I realized, I feel like I've outgrown this mentor, this coach, and I don't feel called to work with them anymore, right? And that's how I felt in the moment, that I felt called to shift my perspective and my life in a different direction. That doesn't mean that I'm not grateful for everything I learned. I'm super grateful. And when I first started working with this mentor, it was exactly what I needed in the moment. And throughout that whole over a year, to be honest, it was amazing. But it got to the point where it didn't feel amazing anymore, which is where it's important to listen to yourself. And when something's not in alignment anymore, it's okay to let it go. Coach, friend, significant other, job, anything in your life, a hobby, right? Maybe it's even food. Certain things that we eat, they're not good for us, but we love so much. And sometimes we have to learn how to let things go, right? It could be any kind of addiction, like drinking too much, like smoking too much, any of that, right? All falls into the same kind of situation, just depends on what it is. And we see it the same way, right? We continue going to this job, whether we love it or not, we need it, right? We may continue smoking because whether we actually love it or not, we feel we need it, right? You go to this job you don't like because you need it, because you need the money. You keep smoking because you feel like you need this outlet to help you continue to go to this job you don't like so you can actually make it through the day. Those examples are coming up because those are real life examples. Yeah, and as I say that out loud, because I was at a job at one time in my life, years and years ago, where I used to love it. I really did. It helped me. I no regrets. It helped me grow so much into a part of who I am today. Now, would I still want to work there today? Absolutely not. And I left for a reason. But looking back, it got to the point in my life where it was no longer good for me and no longer in alignment. And I want to share all these examples so you can think of examples in your own life and to see, right? Like, do I still want to do what I'm doing? Have I taken a step back to see if this is still good for me? Is this in alignment of who I am and in the direction that I want to go? If we jam pack our schedule, and I cannot stress this enough, we'll never have the time to come up for air to realize like, do I still want to do this? Is this still important to me? Does it matter? Right? Like, how are you going to have time to think of anything if you're just trying to survive because you're just so busy trying to get through every to-do list, trying to get to every task, right? So you can feel fulfilled and good. But stop jam-packing your schedule so much and stressing yourself out and creating so much of that resistance in your own life. And I'm speaking this from experience as I am right now going through a transition in my life where I am balancing things, right? Working through that. I'm a work in progress too. I'm not perfect. None of us are. And that's the best thing about the personal development journey and about us sharing our stories and what we've been through is because you know what? I will be willing to bet that a lot of us have very similar stories in just different situations. And you are not alone in anything, everything you're doing. Someone else has gone through something similar or maybe the same situation, right? Like I met so many people or so many, I say kids, right? That grew up in a divorced home as well. But when I grew up, I was like, man, I'm around all these kids that are in like these nice homes with both their parents. Like, must be nice, right? But then as I got older, you realize like a lot of people grew up in that same situation or grew up in homes with both parents. And it wasn't necessarily the best situation, right? There's still trauma there. Just because they had both parents doesn't mean that there wasn't. But growing up, the way I did, I used to think, man, if I had both of my parents, I probably had less trauma. Maybe things would have been different. Well, actually, things would have been different. Absolutely, right? Like everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. And that was a big piece of my life, you know, like not having my dad there growing up was a big piece of who I am today, and it changed me. You know, like you've been following me, you listen to my story. I'm not angry at him. You know, looking back, like what a blessing because that changed my whole perspective on life. And it's ironically enough, this topic is coming up right now as it's Father's Day this weekend. And I used to be so sad, to be honest. And it used to make me cry during like Father's Day or, you know, when I would see kids with their dad because I was like, wow, that's what it's like. It looks that dad cares so much. So I really admire really good dads, you know, when I see them, when I talk to them, my friends who are dads, you know, my siblings who are dads, that they just like show it with so much love. And that's not because I'm like, oh man, I'm so sad because I wish I had that. It wasn't meant for my journey for me to have that, right? My journey was meant to not have my father. And I'm grateful for that because honestly, it changed my life. It changed my perspective and it changed the direction where my life is going and it like where it went, right? So we can play the victim mindset and want people to feel bad for us or we feel bad for ourselves. But if we take a moment to step back and actually realize all those pieces in our lives happen for a reason. It happened to shape us, to teach us lessons, for our path to cross with certain people, right? If you start to look, you're like, if I didn't go to that one event, I would have met that one friend. If I didn't go and if I didn't move, well, I'll just use another real life example. If my parents didn't get divorced and I didn't move, right, away from where I grew up when I was a kid, then I wouldn't know what are my closest friends today, right? I met him through another friend who I met because we moved, and he's still my friend today. Like, it's so beautiful and so amazing. So if my parents never actually got a divorce and we stayed where we grew up, my group of friends would be different. My life would be different. I most likely wouldn't even know my husband today because I met him through the close friends that I have today, and I wouldn't have known him because, I mean, maybe our lives would cross if it was meant to be, but it crossed the way it did because that's exactly how it was supposed to be. Whew. Went down a little bit of rabbit hole there, but I felt like that just needed to come out, and I really wanted to share that and, look at your life and see, where is there areas where I can improve, or where are there areas where, maybe it's you need to take a break from work to appreciate the job you have, right? When we're busy, we're asked to do a lot, it's stressful. We're like, sometimes you go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, I don't like my job anymore. Oh, no, I do, right? But you have to set boundaries in your personal life, in your work life, in everything that you're doing to protect your mental health, to protect your physical health, right? Make sure you sleep, you're eating well, drinking enough water, right? Moving your body, getting some exercise in, talk to someone for your mental health if you need the help, continue to improve. And a lot of people, which is amazing now, are working with coaches and mentors and talking to therapists to work on their mental health. And it's so important because it all ties together within who you are physically, mentally. Super important to show up for yourself. So 9 out of 10 people that I talk to, they love helping others, right? You want to impact someone's life. You want to help them. You have good intention, which is beautiful and so amazing, right? And I live for that. Jam, awesome, good job. You are showing up for yourself and others. But I tell you what, you can show up for others so much better with such more energy and just love and kindness when you take care of yourself and you show up with an open heart. You show up your cup's already full. So it's important to take a break, chill out, take a vacation, take a couple of personal mental health days. If you're just chilling at home, whatever you feel called to do, and take a moment to look at your life, bird eyes view up and see, hey, do I still want to do what it is that I'm doing? And yes, awesome. Keep doing it. If you don't, it's all right. Time for change. Change things up. Add new things to your life. Do whatever you want. That's the most beautiful thing about this journey is nothing is permanent unless you want it to be. So take control of your life. Do what you want to do. Ask for help if you need it. Continue to improve. Continue to reflect. Allow yourself to feel the way you do. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I'm so glad we are back to continue our level up community because that's what we're all about and that's what we're going to keep doing. And no one's going to stop us because when you want to do something, you can do whatever you want. I believe in you. I love you so much. And I will catch you in the next episode. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes. I love you. Take care. And I'll see you soon.